Hey everybody, 90 Day Fiance, Hunt for Love, Season 1, Episode 12. We gonna hit this and we gonna quit this. Okay? Hi everybody. So look, let me just talk about the highlights of the show that we have been watching that we thought that we were going to love, and now some of us are like, I don't know. I just did it. Auntie say it isn't so, and according to Chat GPT and everybody else, quite a few sites have posted that Tiffany Franco was had a boyfriend the whole entire time, and so that puts an entire different spin on what's going on. Hey there, JW. Hey Barbara. I'm squinting. I can see y'all though. Hey y'all. So let's get in it. I did a review the other day with the members, and it was my intention to release it. And then, I just was like, okay, let me just do it real fast. Okay. Okay. And I Randy. Is that Randy? Okay. So look, we opened up the episode right with the bull crap. Cole had in the previous episode, Carlo had a relationship with Elise, right? They had relations with one another. And Tiffany was sitting out with I think his name is Jay, I'm not sure. Jay, no, it wasn't Jay. I can't Joe and Cortney. So she kept telling him to come in, and he was apprehensive about coming in. And then he went up in that camp, right? So when he went up in that camp, she dismissed the rest of them, and she had this little jacked up look on her face, right? Let me see if I can find that jacked up list real quick. That look real quick. So, he was talking to her and everything, and she was looking like this because she didn't know what he was saying out of his mouth. So basically, Carlo had told her that he slept with Elise and he liked it. He said he kissed the girl and he liked it. And so, of course, Tiffany, was broken down all up in the face and everything, even though Carlo had already told her and dismissed her children. He had already told her he won't interested in her because she had children. He didn't want to be in a relationship with a woman with a ready-made family and all of that. So I don't know why she was tripping. Like, I don't understand that at all. But I think that she was mad because it didn't work out with Chocolate. Okay. It did not work out with Rocky. And so her fall guy was Carlo. And so, Carlo was like, I liked it and all of that. And so, Tiffany started telling him that she was disappointed in him and, this girl ain't worth nothing and all of that. She thought that they had something, but hey, she's got other people that she's interested in. In the meantime, in between time, she still got her heart broken and all of that, right? Because she wanted to yield to him. So again, y'all, like I said, I just did a video about Tiffany with the lies about the boyfriend and all of that kind of stuff, right? So make sure you go to the video with Tiffany on the title, right? With Tiffany on the thumbnail. Her little old boyfriend, her old husband says she wasn't about nothing. Anyway, I digress. So she, sends him on packing. Now he's feeling some kind of way about it. He's feeling bad because she manipulated him into thinking that he had done something wrong. And I didn't feel like he did anything wrong. Just like she said, she's been with multiple people and stuff like that. And so she goes back in the room with Courtney and the dude. And Courtney is like, she's trying to act like, this is not bothering her. This is weird, all that kind of stuff, right? So, Tiffany's like, he can move on, we'll do it. Tiffany wasn't ever Tiffany kept saying that she wanted someone to be in her life who would love her, respect her, you know, be there for her and her kids and all of that kind of stuff. And all the time, Tiffany had a boyfriend. Like, who does stuff like that and who says something like that? It just lets me know, like, she seems like she's one of those mothers that would use her children as pawns. Because if you really don't care anything about a man helping you raise your children, then why even use your children? Why even bring it up? If you're just going to be out there and have, relationships with different men and stuff like that, do what you got to do. Whatever. It's whatever. So anyway, in this particular episode, we saw a lot of relationships, just like kind of cutting off. Chantel basically cut off all her relationships and called her girlfriend Ashley after she had sat and had a talk with Tim, because she felt like, she said that, the reason she felt like she had lesbian tendencies, right? Only towards Ashley. But then she was backpedaling off of it because she was saying that she really did not want to have these lesbian tendencies because she didn't want to be rejected by her family, and neither did she want to be rejected by the church. She said that there's no history, right, of that in her family, same sex relationships, and none in the church. And so basically, she's attracted to this girl, Ashley, and I think that's her name. But she just was like, okay, I don't want to do it. I feel ashamed and stuff. And Tim, really did give her great advice and told her, what, Chantel, you ain't did nothing wrong. Love is love. Pursue who you going to pursue. Don't beat yourself up about it. And so later on in the episode, we saw Chantel finally put these men to the side, because we knew that Chantel wasn't interested in any of them. But Chantel finally put these men to the side and made a decision to call Ashley and tell Ashley that she's interested in pursuing a relationship with her. Good for her. I think that a lot of them came on here because it was 4 weeks in Tulum. I think that they thought that it was going to be something different than what it was. They all probably 90% of them probably were already in relationships in the real world, and took things to another level. Cortney is basically entered Colty. Cole has finally got out. He is 2 weeks post-op, and he's laying up in the bed with Cortney. I think Courtney said on one of the shows, and I haven't had a chance to watch it, that Colty basically had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with her. I don't mean he ordered room service. But she has Usman, who she has to rectify things with. And but she's feeling Colty. She is battling between whether or not she really has feelings for Colty, or whether or not these are sympathy feelings. Y'all let me know downtown in the chat whether or not y'all feel like these are sympathy feelings. I don't know what the hell I don't know what's going on, honey, but she seems like, to me, she really likes Colt. And I'm thinking, what in the world could he be offering when he sat there and told Courtney he's homeless? Like, Colt don't have anywhere to live. Like, he was married to Vanessa. He ended up cheating on Vanessa. Vanessa was ready to get rid of him. Then he started messing with some other woman that he allegedly had promised that he would be on the show with, I believe, if I can remember the interview. Like, he just trash, in my opinion. And I think that he is falling for Courtney because he needs somewhere to live. And Courtney is very sympathetic. She is green. She's easy to be played with. And she said, maybe these are red signs that I'm ignoring. When we first met Courtney, maybe episode 1 or 2, Courtney said that her mother told her to pick a man that got money. And she's picking possibly the brokest person on the cast. That was one of the reasons why she was rejecting people, because she said they didn't have money. When they sat around and played some kind of game, and it was love or money, that's what it was. It was, do you want, which one do you really want, love or money? Usman chose love. Courtney chose money, and Colty chose money. And down here, Courtney got money, but Colt don't. So This, in my opinion, is a relationship of guilt, of Colt sneaking out of her room. Cause you ain't gonna tell me he bust his ass open like that and he wasn't sneaking out the room. But she now has to tell Usman. So at a dinner party later on in the evening, she was having a conversation with Cole, and Cole was like, "You need to talk to Usman." And she ended up talking to Usman at the end. You know what I'm saying? And basically was telling Usman. He said, she was basically trying to tell Usman without telling Usman. Such a coward. That she really did have feelings for Colt, and her feelings have not grown with Usman. And Usman said he know just the way that she had been handling him or not handling him. He had already realized, and the poor thing was crying. Child, when I tell you that Usman was crying, Usman was crying, but so was Cortney. And you could see his head down, his body language. He could barely look at her anymore. He was really, really hurt. But just a little while ago, honey, she was laying up in the bed with Cole. Who would lay with Colt? Like his feet look AI. It looked like an AI picture. She has sympathy for him, but here he is. He started crying, and at first I thought, oh, he just faking. But then after a while, I was like, you can't fake this, right? You can't. And she was crying too, because she knows she handled the whole relationship with him incorrectly. That's my opinion about it. Y'all tell me what y'all opinion is downtown in the chat. But Colty must got a mean tongue. That's all I can say about it. Tim went out on a date with May. He felt like, okay, things are winding up. It's time for us to leave the island. So let me go head on and go on this date with May. He went and picked May up, and they had one of those stargazing type of dates where they had a telescope and they were on the beach and they had the little drinky drink Diet Coke. Okay, one of them drink Diet Coke. I think it was Tim. And they just was, stargazing. They was trying to use the telescope. The telescope wouldn't work. And so, they had decided that, okay, let's do something else. So she told Tim that, she can read people and stuff like that. And so she read Tim, and Tim admitted that a lot of what May was saying was true, because she had said that, he seemed like he was a strong person, that he's business minded, that he's about money. She said she saw him as a warrior, and she saw him with a bow and arrow, I believe it was. And he was like shocked out of his mind, because he said that I believe that's what it was. And he said that that was the first toy that his mother had given him, that was, a hunting toy, a hunting toy or whatever. So he was very impressed with May, but there was no love connection between the two of them. And why would there be? Then we got to go back to Jen. Jen is playing, the game back and forth. Jen is mad and has been walking around with Cole. And she knows that she's not interested in Cole, but Cole is someone that she can use to get on Rob's nerve. Her and Rob, as we all know, in episode 11, had a nice little date and everything on the beach and on the jet skis. But she kept saying, Jen kept saying that there was something that she saw, and that made her change her mind about Rob. So what she saw was May coming out the room. So she accused May and Rob of hooking up, but wasn't she in the room and she said she wasn't hooking up? So because you would lie and say that you weren't hooking up, but I got a feeling May was hooking up with him. And if she was, she grown, she could do what she wanted to do. So, now she's going back to Cole And Cole is walking around looking stupid because that's a stupid man, right? And he always wants to be up in Rob's face. He said that he is never now he's met Rob and known Rob for 4 weeks on an island in Tulum. And he says that he has never hated anybody like he hates Rob. I wonder why. I'm going to leave that out there on the floor. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But I think it's more than Jen. And I did have a candid discussion about it in the membership, with the members. But I won't talk about it out here. But y'all think about it. What is it that rubs Cole so bad? It's like he don't want to be sharing or swapping or doing anything with Rob. He steps to Rob and act like he gonna do something. Rob would dash his ass. Like, boy, don't sit up there and ask for something or write a check that your ass can't cash because you just absolutely can't cash it. But Jen always got a whole bunch of stuff going on. She likes men to argue over her and all that old dumb stuff. Like, right? That's just like what she likes. And just like, girl, what? Tiffany now, what's his name? You can tell I'm tired because I am just drawing a blank on his daggone name. Carlo goes into the room and he wants to have a conversation. This boy's eyes was running up in his head like this the whole time. Every time somebody said something, he like his eyes was like his eyes disappeared. When he went out there and talked to Tiffany, he was a little bit more serious. But now he has to go in and have a conversation with Jennifer and tell Jennifer that, basically he decided that even though he had committed himself to her to be with her and only her for the remainder of the time that they were there, he changed his mind and went back to Tiffany. And I just was like, what in the world? So, of course, Jen was sitting there, trying, you could see it on her face, just the devastation of it and all of that kind of stuff, right? And I just felt like he was wrong about everything that he did. And of course, Evelina is at the party acting stupid, right? We can ready to talk about the party. And so she tells him, you made a mistake and all of that kind of stuff. He told her he made a mistake. And she said, well, if you have, why did you come back multiple times if you made a mistake? If you made a mistake, why the fuck you with me? Why'd you even do this? But Elise has said before that Carlo is scared of Tiffany, and I believe that it has a whole lot to do with that, right? Absolutely, boo. Hey, boo. Hey, boo. Oh my God, Stevie Drews. Stevie Drew don't wear hard. I can't even put that comment up there. So of course, she cries. She says, you gave me a teddy bear and all of that. And she's just like crying. She gives him his teddy bear back and all of that. And meanwhile, in between time, Tiffany's running around the island and telling everybody, what's happening, what's going on, and all of that kind of stuff. And it ends up being a confrontation at the end of the night because after, Cortney had her conversation and her good cry with Usman, she came over and talked to Jen about it and told Jen, I mean, not Jen. She came and talked to Elise and told Elise, go and have a conversation, a grown conversation. So she goes over there to have a grown conversation with Tiffany's nasty ass. And Tiffany's like, yeah, you know what? Come on. Yeah, let's go and talk about this. Come on, let's go talk. So of course, when she goes out there and talk, everybody goes running behind them and everything, right? And so, basically Tim lashes out at her and tell her that she's no good because Tiffany is playing the sympathy card and playing, you was my best friend. Girl, she didn't give a goddamn on about this girl one way or the freaking other. She didn't care nothing about her. And and now it comes out she didn't care nothing about any of them on it. She just was playing a role. Tiffany wasn't serious about that. And instead of her being honest and having some type of integrity, especially being an old woman, She should have let Carlo go with Elise because she knew she had a man at home. According to, you know what I'm saying, y'all? Allegedly, she had a man as herself. Go to the video. But everybody jumped on her and made her apologize to Tiffany, and I didn't think that was right. Because I wouldn't have apologized to Tiffany because if Tiffany can forgive him, then Tiffany can forgive me. We both did the same thing. I wasn't your best friend. We was talking, but I wasn't your best friend. But this was your potential man who slept with me multiple times. And she told Tiffany that he slept with her multiple times. And so when Carlo came over there with his confusion ass, okay, and I said confusion on purpose, he comes over there with his confusion behind, and he's telling her, everything gonna be okay, everything fine. And she's like, no. Elise told me some things that I really think may have really happened. And they probably did. Now, we didn't see them sleep together multiple times, but I'm sure that they did. She's just a mean, evil, like Tiffany is just mean and evil and has, in my opinion, and has no sympathy or empathy for the human race. She doesn't care about anybody's feelings, who she steps on, and how she steps on them, as long as she steps on them. She is disgusting to me. I mean, disgusting. So they're about to have, they're about to close all of this up with, let's see who gonna be with who, but we can already deduce to, what's gonna go on and what's gonna happen. I think a lot of people want to know whether or not Jen is gonna pick Cole or Rob. I don't think she's gonna pick either one of them because she just been toying and playing with them the whole entire time anyway. Y'all, that is the end of my review. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Okay, last night I did not get into bed until well after 12. And y'all know I have to get up at what time? Tweet. So I am getting ready to go to bed. But like I said, I had already done this review and had a conversation with the members. And I forgot that I did not come out here and do it with you. So I wanted to make sure that I put, let y'all know how I was feeling about this situation and everything like that. Okay. Anyway, love y'all. Y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.